guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I was thinking about this the other day and I came across a story and it started making me think a little bit. You know, we've got top 5%, 3%, 10% of men, and all the women seem on their dating profiles and all the articles you read that those are the men they want and all other men are completely invisible to them. However, that's not true. There's actually a lot of men that are very visible to them. They're the thirsty guys, the reply guys, the guys asking for bobs and vagine on their posts. And they're the guys that are paying the women for their spicy, saucy content. So I have this story here, and this kind of makes sense. An Only Fools model goes viral after quitting, as she said she's not attracted to men anymore. And why? It's because the men that are simping and thirsting for her are so cringy that it's basically turning her off to them. And she's like, you know what, guys are kind of gross. Now, here's the truth of it. As with all things, there's many men with different shades of gray in their lives, shall we say. And not all guys fall into the same camp. You could have a very successful guy that's a basketball player, NBA player, trying to slide into DMs of women to, like an Instagram model or something like that, trying to get somewhere with her. The reason why he's not thirsty and he's not a simp is because he's rich, and those women probably want to actually hook up with him and then have his baby and win lots of money. But this is kind of an interesting story because I do think that the mass group, the average dude out there is invisible to a lot of these women. But if you're either a top baller or you don't even have a ball and you're probably homeless and thirsty, those do appear on the radar of women. And so they're categorizing all men as either top 10 percenters or losers, and the rest just kind of get, lost in the mix. This is a TikToker, Kimchi Princessa, I guess, revealed that after 1 year of creating content on Only Fools, she now does not have any attraction to men anymore. Now, here's the truth. Of course she does, because if Joe Sixpack goes wandering by and decides to give her the old in and out and the, Captain Thunderstroke here, she's going to be interested. But in general, she's just saying, you know what, doing this content, I'm coming in contact with the worst of the worst of men, and I don't want to bother anymore. And I think as a whole, this does hurt men as a category. Over the last few years, more and more people are turning to content creation as their full-time job, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, or other platforms. Only Fools is another option for content creation, and some creators have made crazy amounts of money doing it. TikToker Kimchi Princessa turned to Only Fools in 2022 and has also been documenting her everyday life as a saucy worker on her TikTok. On July 25th, a creator opened up in a now deleted TikTok video that the money was the only upside of doing it and that it almost isn't worth it anymore, Insider reported. She began to open up on how starting her career in Only Fools had been a fun creative outlet for her to create content, but she went on to reveal that she started to feel super burned out about 6 months in and had struggled with the mental illnesses since then. No surprise. It's kind of amazing how if you show your balloon knot, your starfish on the internet for money, it's kind of crazy about how you can get burned out and have mental issues. Now, the truth of it is, and let's be honest with it, content creators do get burnout. I've taken a few days off, and just here recently, like this is my first video in a few days, and I did a live stream on Friday and Saturday over on Locals, and something that happens with a lot of content creators is it becomes difficult thinking of something new or finding a story or having something interesting to talk about, because if you just talk about the same thing, people stop watching you. So you always have to kind of come up with, new and interesting things. And when you can't, you find yourself in a very stressful situation to where it's like, well, if I do content that I've kind of already done, people get bored and move on, and I won't be able to make an income anymore. And then the other stress is, well, if I don't do anything, I don't get paid. And so you find yourself in this catch-22 where it's like, well, what am I going to do? Well, when these Only Fools content creators come out and they've shown every video and every photo of them doing whatever, after a while, people are going to move on. And that's probably what happens to a lot of them. So they do get burnout. The other thing is, too, like they say in her case, and we'll get to this in just a second, is she's like, these guys are kind of gross and they're weird. And I have to put up with them to make money, but they're also kind of gross and weird. She says, I feel a little bit dead inside. I feel completely desensitized, and I don't know, not to sound funny, but I really don't feel any type of desire or attraction to men in general anymore. Now, of course, she doesn't feel attraction to just a general man, because not only does she do this kind of content and burn herself out to it, but also let's face it, she's not dealing with the most successful, best men out there. The other thing I do find interesting is she did go viral for posting a video about it, but then she deleted it. I wonder if it was because she was afraid it was going to hurt her income, because the same men she's insulting are the ones that give her money. They say Kimchi Princessa. Shouldn't that have two S's? Princessa? Yeah, I should have two S's, I think. Said the main reason she started to get conflicting thoughts about her work were the disgusting direct messages her followers sent her, as some users who sent her these messages appeared to have had girlfriends, wives, or families. And yes, this is true. These are men that probably wanted to spice up their life a little bit. Things aren't going so great in the home. And yeah, you can say, hey, you know what? If guys are married and they have girlfriends or wives or families and they're doing this, they shouldn't be doing this. But let's face it, in many cases, if you're married and the wife no longer wants to give you any action or put on a lot of weight or treat you like crap, but you can't leave because you know you'll get raked under the coals during a divorce and she'll take the kids and half your house and half of everything else, you're kind of stuck. Can a man just turn off his desires or wanting to see women and all that stuff? Can he just turn that off? No, he can't. So in many cases, yeah, they should leave, but in a lot of cases, I don't think they can. Now, should they be DMing her asking for all these specific related things? No, probably not. I don't think that's exactly a good look. But again, when you show your tailpipe on the internet for $5 a month, you're gonna probably not get the creme de la creme when it comes to men. She says later in the video, she also revealed that the money was the only upside to doing it, but it almost isn't worth it anymore. And this is something I try to tell guys all the time. These women will never like you. As a matter of fact, in many cases, they probably dislike you. They hate you, but they will put up with you for your money. And that's why people need to get away from this stuff. In response to the video, a fellow TikToker and Only Fools creator XOXOXGen made her on video. I guess maybe they meant to say her own video, where she said that her work on Only Fools has made it hard for her to have relationships with men. She felt like her job made her see their true form. Despite her thoughts, Kimchi Princessa reveals that she was not a quitter and always sees things through to the very end. Now, why is she not a quitter? Because she's tough, resilient? No, she wants the money. That's all it boils down to. It's a lot of money for easy work. All she has to do is put on a little bit of makeup, take a couple of photos or a video of her, I don't know, doing in and out with a piece of plastic, and she gets probably tens of thousands of dollars. So, of course, she's going to keep doing it. But like this other content creator says, she has a hard time with relationships with men, and she feels like she sees men in their true form. Again, she sees men that are thirsty, desirable, willing to pay to see photos on the internet. She's seeing their true form. She's not seeing all men's true form. But again, women are going to categorize women as, or let me correct that. Women are going to categorize men as, quote, men. That's all there is to it. They really struggle to know the difference between a guy that's got his crap together, who's nice and kind and would probably be a good boyfriend and doesn't go out and partake of this stuff, that would pay attention to his girl and be a great guy. And then they have a hard time separating that guy from the player, and from the player to the loser that wants to pay to see Bob and Vagin. I won't quit till I'm physically stopped, she said. Of course, because now she needs the money. It's either that or she's going to go be a waitress at Denny's, and she doesn't want to do that for $8 an hour when, again, she can just show a couple of photos and probably make tens of thousands of dollars. Around the time she published her video about feeling burned out, her OnlyFools page was deleted. Instead, she now seems to be creating content on the Playboy's competing platform. So all she did is try to get a little bit better clientele, I guess. But the men that pay for this stuff are the same no matter where you go. And I think this is, you can say, oh, well, men that do X are part of the problem. Let's face it, all men are part of the problem. All women are part of the problem. Everybody is part of the problem because we group everybody together, and we have a tendency nowadays in today's society to loop everybody together. Women are X, men are X, this race or this religion or this whatever are X. And that's what we do. That's what happens when you try to smash everybody into these groups or marginalized groups or groups of color, groups of religion. When you got to face it, everybody is an individual on their own. But this is what we do with society. So the truth of it is, yes, there are good guys out there that would make great boyfriends and would probably treat her very nicely. Then there are guys out there that are just players, that are top 10 percenters, that would just smash and have a laugh as they're out with the boys having beer later on, and they would never talk to her again. And then there are guys out there that would worship her and give her every penny and put her up on a pedestal and would be incredibly thirsty and simpy and would probably make her hate men. There's all sorts. But again, because of the climate of our society today, women are having an impossible time to separate that. And that's one of the reasons why, we can say, hey, you know what, if you get married, odds are you're going to get divorced, especially if she's left-leaning and especially if she's very successful. And if you get a woman who's, you're 3 steps higher than her on the social value scale, if you're a 7 and she's a 4, no, she'll probably come close to worshiping the ground that you walk on. You're just going to have to, realize you're dating somebody that's lower on the value scale than you are. Some guys will do that, some won't. But the whole point is that everybody's on a different scale and there's a lot of opportunity out there, but none of it is guaranteed. And so whether you're dating somebody that's very successful, and this is what I was getting to just a second ago, whether you're dating someone who's very successful and very beautiful, there's a 99% chance that she'll bail on you because she's going to have a lot of opportunities. And if you're somebody that's maybe 2 or 3 steps up on the social value scale from a woman, your odds are much better that she stays with you, but there's no guarantee that she won't. What happens if she gets some makeup tutorials and she loses 50 pounds and decides to, purchase a nice set of knockers or something or other? There's no guarantee that she won't bail out on you either. But there are differences. The problem is, I think, that a lot of people tend to do women are X, men are X, and you fall into that trap, and before you know it, you don't like any group because everybody belongs to some sort of a group. Now, a lot of people don't know this, there is a group that I hate. It is the human beings. I'm tired of all of them. Leave me alone. Humans are horrible in general. How's that? I don't honestly believe that. I think humans have people have the amazing capacity to be good. The problem is when you're led by the stupid, selfish, narcissistic ones, you get into a society like this, and that's what I think makes a lot of people want to just kind of tap out and not be involved with it. Guys, I'll leave it there. Originally, I had recorded this in my Friday stream over on Locals, but the problem is Locals is having an issue with the back end, and they're not processing videos right now very well, so I will upload things here on YouTube in the meantime until they get things squared away. Growing pains. YouTube's been around for, I think, 17 years. Locals has been around for 2.5, so sometimes you have some growing pains. But it is a great community over there, a lot of guys, and one of the things I'd suggest doing, if you're curious about it, go sign up as a member, and then I'll probably be doing a supporter drive. Some of the guys have bought like a free month of support. Like if you wanted to, like they've paid me $5 for some of you guys, and I'm going to pass that $5 on for you so you can become a supporter if you'd like to check it out. I think it's a great community. There's a lot to to be seen and to enjoy over there, a lot more than just the content I put up. So I hope you go over and check it out today. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next one. I'll find something else to talk about because there's always something coming out that's crazy. I think the next one I'm going to talk about is Megan Rapinoe, the horrible soccer player that played with the blue or green hair or whatever, that plays for the U.S., that was always complaining about equal pay. She ended up losing and getting the ladies soccer team kicked out of the World Cup, which is just chef's kiss. You got to love that. I'll probably talk about that one next. We'll see you in the next one.